Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. This is episode 74 of my new Comics Haul series. This is a series where each and every week when I grab my new pickups at the local comic shop every week when new issues release, I show you guys everything I got and I tell you a little bit about every single issue. So I've got 5 different issues this week, as you can see. The last one here is a little bit oversized, so we'll get to that at the end of the video. But I've got 3 issues from Marvel this week, this time around, and I've got 1 issue from DC and 1 issue from Image. Now we've got all these books out of the bag, we gotta get the bag out of the way. Alright, now that that's all over with, let's get right into the haul. We always started off with Marvel Comics, my favorite comics publisher. We'll start it off here with probably the biggest release they had this week. There wasn't actually too much excitement going on for any comic publisher, to be honest. Marvel had a pretty small week, just like some Judgment Day tie-in stuff like that. But we'll start it off here with Edge of Spider-Verse issue number 1. This is number 1 in a new 5-issue series. I won't be getting into any spoilers because you guys got to read this for yourself if you want to pick it up. But I did already read this issue, not any of the others in this haul though, and I really, to be completely honest, I didn't like it. I'll be leaving a full review on the channel though after this video. It should be out before or after this video shortly. In this first issue, we have 4 different stories basically. A couple of them are like revisiting already established characters in the Spider-Verse. So we had a Spider-Man Noir one, which is actually pretty cool, and an Aranya one where she gets like a new costume. So if you see that person on the bottom of the cover, that's actually Aranya, just in this new costume that she has. There's like a Spider T-Rex story that was done by the Spider-Woman creative team, which I didn't read that run, but I always hear great things about it. So I don't know, let me know what you guys are thinking about this new Edge of Spider-Verse issue. It honestly seems like a little bit of a cash grab, but I really am curious to know you guys' thoughts on Edge of Spider-Verse if you've already read it. Alright, moving on with Marvel Comics. I've got a couple other issues I ended up picking up from that publisher this week. The next one here is Moon Knight number 14. So this one's probably my most anticipated issue of the week, although I will say I haven't really been liking Moon Knight quite as much as I did at the beginning lately. Ever since like issue 11, I want to say, maybe even earlier than that, it's dropped off a little bit for me. I don't really necessarily think that anything has changed. It might have just become a little bit more tropey, a little bit more generic to the superhero genre. Like over those last couple issues, I think it was 11 and 12, we had the big conclusion to the whole Zodiac arc, so it only makes sense that things got a little bit more general. Number 13 had some guest art. I actually really liked the work on that issue as compared to that artist having done some other issues of Moon Knight in the past, which I didn't like as much, so they're definitely improving. Now we've got Cappuccio, though, the main artist, doing some great artwork on this book, and it looks like we've got the 3 different personalities like conversing with each other. The different personality disorder thing with Moon Knight hasn't been a big part of this run so far, so it'll actually be pretty interesting to see how Jed MacKay deals with that. That's Moon Knight number 14. Alright then guys, next up we've got Ghost Rider number 5. This is the last issue I ended up grabbing from Marvel Comics this week. And this has Ghost Rider, Hawkeye, Black Widow, and Moon Knight on the cover. All these like street level heroes. There's no way all these people are actually in the comic, right? I think like, not Moon Knight, sorry, Wolverine is on the cover for number 6. It seems really bizarre if they actually do just take a random turn in the series and have like a bunch of guest appearances. My guess is that it's going to end up being some kind of hallucination or some kind of possession of Johnny Storm's mind that's making him imagine these heroes are actually there. So I don't know what the deal is going to be with that. I guess we'll have to read to find out, because over the last few issues of the series, we've basically just had this kind of new take on Ghost Rider. The big twist, though, is that it's kind of like Immortal Hulk, in that now Ghost Rider only comes out at night. There's like these horrific transformations where Ghost Rider rips out of the flesh of Johnny Blaze, and we see that happen on panel. So some pretty crazy, kind of creepy things, and the FBI has been tracking him down the whole time while this is happening. That's Ghost Rider number 5. Alright, that was everything that I ended up picking up from Marvel Comics this week, but next up I've got 1 issue that I grabbed from Image, and this is Twig number 4. So I honestly didn't like the first issue that much, but then I reread it along with number 2 and then got number 3 afterwards, and that was what really brought me into this series. You have to pay attention a little bit and really look at the details, because there is kind of a plot going on. We have our main character Twig. He's been tasked with finding this ruby, which he's had possession of now, and it's not really clear what's going on, but there's this lore in this universe or this world that he's a part of, where he has to put this gem in a certain place and that'll like save the world. So there's like these gem bearers, there's a name for them that I'm not remembering here, and his father was one before him. Twig always wanted to be a chef, but since his father died, now he's been taking up this role, so he's just going on this big adventure with his buddy Splat, who's this weird like moldable slime creature, and I'm really liking their dynamic. Scotty Young is such a good writer. He's really been cementing himself as one of the best writers in the business. I'm a big fan of the series, and I think most people that read it are, so that's Twig number 4. Alright guys, thanks for sticking around to this point in the video. I've got one more issue to show you guys. This one is from DC Black Label, and it's the last issue that I ended up picking up this week. Just 5 issues, not too crazy of a haul, but some good stuff to look forward to. This last one is Aquaman Andromeda, Book 2. I hope there isn't glare on the camera here, but we have Black Manta on the cover there. You guys know I'm not up on my DC knowledge, but this is a Black Label book. It's, I think, the only DC comic I'm grabbing right now besides the Sandman Universe Nightmare Country one, and I picked up the first issue on a whim while I was on a road trip about a month ago, and then I had the chance to read it a couple weeks ago, and I really liked it. It's a great place for new readers. The artwork is really spectacular to look at by Christian Ward, and it's written by Ram V, who I'm not a big fan of. I know most people are from his indie work and stuff. All I've ever read from Ram V was his Venom run, and I totally dropped that because I was not liking what he was doing with Dylan Brock. And we've got like this alien spacecraft that somehow crash landed in the ocean. There's this team of like the most elite marine biologists and scientists that have been tasked with going underwater for the government and trying to explore what's going on. And then we've got this bigger narrative with Aquaman, and he's not really as involved as you might think he would be in his own title, which I'm honestly really liking. He's almost like a bigger force, like an almost like mythical force that we barely ever see in the comic. It's not just told from his point of view. Instead, we see him like coming in and defeating this huge kraken in a really epic scene, like seen from the perspective of the scientists on the ship. There's also just really likable character dynamics, the building like character moments between each other. I'm really liking this so far, and we'll see how Black Manta ends up getting involved. Aquaman Andromeda number 2. Alright then guys, that's it for my new comics haul this week. Let me know what you guys picked up though down in the comment section below. Like I already said, I'm really curious to know your thoughts on Edge of Spider-Verse number 1, whether you're planning on continuing to pick it up, or if you didn't even bother grabbing the first issue, let me know why as well. But I do appreciate you guys watching. If you want to show a little bit more support to the channel, you can also hit the subscribe button down below. See you guys in the next video. Bye guys.